Those that know me even just a little bit know that I'm a huge advocate for having a vocal coach, voice teacher, or vocal consultant. In other words, all singers should have a second pair of ears capable of teaching you what you need to learn at any given moment. I believe in this strongly, but that doesn't mean that you have to study all of the time. There are absolutely seasons to your study. Hey, welcome to the Monique on the Mic podcast. I'm your host, Monique B. Thomas. This show is your go-to resource for professional and aspiring singers. Every Monday, join me for solo episodes and insightful interviews where I share real artist stories, practical strategies, and mindset shifts. Whether you're just starting out or already on your journey, you'll find the tools you need to transform your vocal path and feel supported. I keep it real, I keep it funny, and it's always useful and up to date. Let's get into it. When it comes to the seasons of your study, I want to talk about 5 key areas: building your basic technique, preparation for recordings, tours, special performances, and auditions, post-tour reset, vocal injury management, and vocal checkups. Ideally, the first thing anyone should do is build a solid foundational technique. As boring as it may seem, the whole purpose is to prepare your voice for the type of singing you're going to demand of it. Your voice needs to be reliable, as your earning potential depends on it. I've known of singers who always complain of vocal fatigue or loss of range. The voice sounds rough and difficult to use. Not only is that not enjoyable, it's not necessary. Building a foundational technique means that you're learning what the voice can, should, and should not do. The truth is that even with a great technique, not every voice is meant to sing everything. Just as in sports, you have bodies that are built for basketball, or sprinting, or long-distance running, or wrestling, etc. And while you might have a few outliers that can excel at one or more sports, most people's bodies will have a natural disposition to do mainly one thing. With your vocal technician, you should discover what that thing is. Now, I don't necessarily mean the genre of music, although that could be a part of it. It's mainly about discovering where your voice sits and its weight. When I say sit, I mean some voices are naturally high and can sustain a song with lots of high notes very easily, while others might struggle because they are mid-range sitting voices or low voices. Obviously, knowing this can thwart a lot of struggle and frustration, but also speed up the process to becoming an effortless singer. Building your basic technique is also about understanding where your bridges are and how to sing through them seamlessly. I might add that knowing which repertoire and keys are right for you is a huge part of getting through your bridges successfully. That actually means that if you're struggling to mix, it might be the song or the key, not necessarily you. Let's talk about preparation for recordings, tours, special performances, and auditions. When preparing for these events, you'll need the help of a professional to show you your blind spots. As a professional, my job is to prepare you vocally, and I might add mentally for what is to come. The first thing I'm going to do is verify that the thing you want to do is something you should and could do at this time. Let me take the instance of an audition. Sometimes what might seem like an incredible opportunity might not be right for you. Perhaps a producer wants you to sing a song that not only sits in the wrong place for you, but actually will encourage you to resort to your old bad habits. The money might be right, but if you can't maintain the shows with ease and excellence, what good is it in the long run? Part of my job is to weigh what is right for your voice now and in the future. We're thinking long-term career here. Of course, the final decision is up to you as you weigh the pros and cons. In any case, the other situations such as tours, auditions, and other special performances do require careful planning and preparation to maintain a high standard of performance. The work schedule for these sessions with me will depend on your current vocal condition, what will be demanded of your voice, and how much time you have to prepare. Obviously, if your voice is already in good shape and can handle the material that you will be singing, the sessions will focus on building the repertoire into your body with lots of repetition so that you can perform with your eyes closed come the big day. If, however, your voice is not yet able to do what is demanded of you, and we have deemed it still appropriate, then we'll have to build your technique to meet those demands. It is not uncommon, however, that artists are asked to do things that are actually not appropriate for their voice, and sometimes a record company or production might hire a vocal coach to almost perform a miracle. All the coach and the artist can do is their best, but sometimes it's clear that the artist should have said no to that project. It's not easy. For singers who tour, it's likely that at some point they might need a post-tour checkup. While performing can be extremely tiresome, it's not always the singing that wreaks havoc on the voice. It's usually everything else. The heavy traveling, dry air conditions, lack of sleep, too much talking, and so much more can adversely affect the voice before you've even sung one note. If this goes on for several weeks or more, the singer will need to do a reset, which is basically work that helps the voice regain its proper balance. This could range from a couple sessions a week for a month to a couple of sessions every month for several months. Again, that will depend on the current condition and what is coming next in the singer's schedule. Sometimes a singer might need tour support. It is actually quite easy to get off balance during a tour, even with a solid technique. If this is the case, the singer must immediately contact their voice specialist so that they can manage the voice, hopefully regain balance and avoid injury and concert cancellations. Lessons via video make this especially easy now. It can really be a lifesaver. Unfortunately, there comes a time in almost every professional singer's life where they might sustain a vocal injury. This can range from fatigue to edema, which is swelling, to nodules, cysts, and more. As soon as the singer realizes that something feels and or sounds off in their voice, they should schedule an appointment with their voice professional. An appointment with a laryngologist may or may not be necessary, but the last thing you'll want to do is bury your head in the sand and ignore it. Early diagnosis is always best so that you can avoid further or irreparable damage. Whatever the prognosis may be, you'll have to work closely with your voice doctor and voice teacher to get you performance ready again. This could mean modifications to your current singing schedule, as well as changes in keys and or repertoire, and a temporary but slightly different singing approach. Now let's look at checkups. Lastly, if you haven't been to see your voice teacher in 6 months or more, it might be time to have a checkup. I have lots of students that will work with me for a period of months, and then they'll use the recordings to keep things in good working shape. I'm talking about the students who have their basic vocal technique in place and go off to do that music thing for a while. This is normal and not a bad thing at all. They go and put into action what they have learned with me until that becomes second nature. Then what happens is often that they are ready for more info. Perhaps an artistic change brings about the need for the voice to do something new. It's actually a good thing that your vocal technique should follow your artistic evolution. So they come back in to see what's going on with the voice and learn something new about the voice. This could be one lesson or several lessons for several months. It certainly isn't one size fits all. I forgot to mention that you'll definitely want to avoid learning new techniques while on tour. These things need to be established before you're actually performing. Nothing is worse than performing while feeling unsure of your technique. In any case, the thing to remember is that you need to know what season you're in. Have you built a solid technique? Are you preparing for a special occasion? Do you need to rebalance the voice because you picked up some bad habits or you're injured? Or are you simply ready for a new layer of information about your voice? Depending on where you are at, will determine your schedule with me and the type of training required. I've had students take daily lessons for a month to prepare for an album or do a 1-week residency 6 hours a day to prepare for a special performance. Sometimes students take lessons 1 time per week for months to develop a solid technique, while others take 1 to 2 lessons per month. It all depends on how important it is to you, the types of goals you've established, your deadlines, and of course, your financial situation. I understand that artists are not rolling in the dough. I'll work with you in your unique situation in order to achieve your goals. Please keep in mind, the more frequent the lessons and the closer they are together, the faster your results will be. As I close out this week's episode, I just want to mention that I've had some great success with my newest service, which is VIP Day. This is a 1-day, 6-hour session where we choose 3 goals and work on them intensely. Then I give you things to work on your own for the next few months. This option is great for someone who works well by themselves and has a hard time scheduling regular lessons, but needs assistance. It's also great for someone who lives far away, but prefers in-person lessons. If you're interested in seeing if a VIP day is right for you, send me an email at info@moniquebthomas.com. I'd be happy to set a meeting up with you. If you've enjoyed this episode, please don't forget to subscribe and leave a review wherever you listen to podcasts. If you're really liking what I'm throwing down, you'll love my Mike Masters newsletter. For more information on how to work with me and to sign up for the newsletter, visit www.moniquebthomas.com. That's www.moniquebthomas.com. Musically, Monique.